Hello, it's me, Ian. I sell books on eBay, but it's not all books today. I've got something a bit different, and you've probably seen what it is if you saw the thumbnail. Better than the last couple of days of sales, but still not a fantastic day. Um, a couple of nice individual sales that pushed up the overall sales value. A few half decent bundles going out as well, and two or three standardish single books. I think they go for a huge amount of money, but they just keep selling, so we will keep selling them. Also, yesterday's video got an awful lot of comments, so thank you all for taking part in that conversation. Some really good ideas, some fantastic suggestions. It's given me an awful lot to think about. Um, some of the stuff that came up I have considered in the past, dismissed then, or put it on the back burner to think about going forward. So I've got an awful lot to go through and think about there, and I'll probably come back and have a chat about that in a future video once I've had time to kind of get in and process and think about where I might go. But I'll try and come back to a couple of the things that were mentioned, suggested, asked, said later in this video. But let's have a look at some orders first, shall we? So the first order to go out in the day, because it's the first one that came in the day, is the Not a Book. I kind of forgot I had these Jigsaws. So there's a wee guy I know who was having a clear out of his house. His wife passed away a few years ago, and he's been very slowly just clearing out all of the bits and pieces that they've got. He's got a stack of books that he's passed on to us, and a stack of jigsaws. I sold a few in the past, and they don't sell for much money. You make a couple of quid on them, but they were coming to me for nothing, and saved him having to, find somebody to drive them down to the charity shop, which would have been me anyway, to be honest. So he gave them all to us. The ones that were in quite good condition and are complete, I put up. And let's see, a few of them sold a while ago, and I've kind of forgotten about them. But this sale came through. So Shambles York, WH Smith About Britain Jigsaw, and it sold for £10.98. So let's see, I'll get a couple of quid out of that once postage, fees, VAT, everything's been paid on it. So yeah, jigsaws sell. They do actually sell very well. It's a bit like the books or DVDs or CDs. If you've got hundreds of them, you'll sell them regularly. But for a £10 sale, that's a lot of space. So not something that I'm overly enamoured with shifting out the door. But, take it where you can get it. So that was the first sale of the day. The next one is a bit nicer. We've got The Silk One by Robert Galbraith, first edition. Just make sure I've picked up one of the first edition copies, because that would be a disaster sending out the wrong one. Yes, first published in 2014. So first edition of Robert Galbraith's The Silk One. I've got a few copies of that are first edition, and that one sold for £25.99. Prices vary massively on books such as that, whether they're first edition or not. But I just put a price on, stood my ground as it were, and it's finally sold. One of them has sold. I think that may actually be the second one that's sold, but still quite nice to keep the day moving. So £25.99 for that one book. Next, we've got a wee stack, a little bundle of Anne Rice hardcovers. We've got Pandora, Merrick, which is a BCA one, Violin, and Memnoch the Devil, and the total price for that was £20.79. So a couple of them were priced up because they're a bit uncommon. Turns into a nice sale. So 20 quid for them as well. Another bundle. Didn't sell for quite as much as the last one, but it's a bundle nonetheless. we've got a wee stack of Philippa Gregory. So Dark Tides, Dawnlands, Whiteacre, Meriden and The Favoured Child. So that's 1 2/3 series. I think that's how they work out. Dawnlands, what's the one that's missing? Dark Tides, Dawnlands. Yeah, there's another one in that series, can't remember what it is. But the 5 of them sold for £12.99. So, not bad at all. Let's have a quick look at something here. So first up, a couple of comments, as there always is, about volume. I do apologise. The only setup I've got is just recording this straight off a Chromebook. I've not got any mic or anything, so I am speaking quite loudly, but the mic will only pick up what the mic will pick up. So sorry if it's not getting quite loud enough. At some point in the future, I'll be able to find a mic nice and cheap and do something about that so that you can hear me a wee bit better. But not much more I can do with it at the moment, unfortunately. Something else I just wanted to mention, which is a very good point. So Dil Vasi, DYL Vasi, Vasi. Anyway, thank you for watching and commenting, etc. This is only from about an hour ago, right enough. If you're picking up all the best products you can find and you want to double your sales, then you can't pick up twice as much because you've already picked up the best. So therefore, to double your sales, you maybe need to pick up 3 times as much. Very good point, and one that I have considered, and I've wondered when I will get to that point. At the moment, I'm in a really lucky position that I've got about 8 places I could go every week to get stock. At the moment, I go to one of them every week and 2 of them every fortnight. So I'm not actually picking up all of the cream that I could at the moment. The pickups that I make are limited by space and cash available. You ain't got the money, you can't buy the books. So I buy as much as I can based on the space I've got. Well, actually, I always say that, but to be honest, I buy them anyway, and they sit in bags and boxes waiting until I've got space to process them. But for the most part, it's limited by cash flow. So if I've got £100 available to buy books, I will spend £100 in books, but I'm still only able to pick up a fraction of the stuff that I would like to pick up, you know, that cream, before I even get down to all the other stuff that may or may not sell as well as what I currently pick up. So yeah, it's a very good point that if you've already kind of picked up everything that's good, then if you're picking up the next tier down of stock, profits will be lower, sell-through rate could be slower, you know, all of these things need to be considered. So yeah, if you're wanting to double up from that point, you could be looking at having to, you know, treble, quadruple what you're doing to actually make twice as much money. Let's say at the moment, I'm still not hitting everything that I could get if the cash flow was available to do it. So that's why just now I'm quite confident I can increase the whole supply if I can find a way to get to that point. There was something else. Yeah, no, that's all for now. I say there's been a lot of really good advice, some brilliant information coming from all of you guys who have commented, so thank you very much for doing that. Yesterday's videos, by my standards, has really blown up. I mean, that's less than a day in and nearly 1,000 views on it already, which is crazy. So yeah, fantastic. But let's have a look at another sale, will we? Because that may or may not be what you're actually here for. Right, next, for £6.84, Tony Parsons, The People Next Door. Really good condition, nice and clean. Paperback, £6.84. All nice. Another little paperback on its own. Again, nice condition, nice and clean. A Gypsy in Auschwitz by Otto Rosenberg. This came from an acquaintance who had been given a big stack of World War II books. You know, a lot of them around concentration camps and, you know, the Holocaust. They were having no luck selling them whatsoever, so I said, I'll take them and I'll list them. And they've actually dripped out the door okay. You know, every couple of weeks, one or two of them will sell. So that's another of those going. So because of that, I did start picking up more kind of World War II related books. And they're selling. They sell okay. They're not spectacular by any stretch. They're bound to come across one which does have a bit more value or a bit more demand. And once I've found that and sold it, I will know. And I'll know to look out for it more. But for the time being, these do seem to sell okay. If you've got the space, then you can stack them up. You can get them out the door. £6.84. Although, having said all of that, I picked up a stack of World War II related books at the weekend. Not a huge amount, maybe a dozen or so in total and everything that I picked up. Like Commando stories, I think there was a Sven Hassel in there, a big book on World War II, and only when I got back and went through them realised I'd also picked up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf. So I was just going to chuck it in the recycling bin, you know, that goes out with the rubbish, but I thought I don't want somebody to see that that's even been in my house. It's so I need to dispose of that. But you can sell them on eBay apparently. You can sell them in all sorts of places. You can get reasonable money for it, but really, I don't want to encourage that. So yeah, be careful what you pick up. Sometimes it's really not what you're expecting. But anywho, next, educational, how to pass French, National 5. So Scottish education book. Excuse me. I don't get many English ones obviously because I'm north of the border, so there's not many folk up here studying what is it you guys call it, GCSE and whatever the one is above that, I don't know. So yeah, Nat 5 second edition, £6.99, heading off to PA3, so that's kind of Paisley-ish area. Oh, those again, they tick out quite nicely, those books. I expect a wee bit of an upsurge because kids will be getting all their prelim results back at the moment, and the parents will be going, you need to get your grades up, and going out and buying all of these books for them to make sure that they can be properly educated in this modern world. Right, next, haven't sold them for a couple of days, but she's back. Julia Donaldson, wee bundle of 5, Snail and the Whale, The Singing Mermaid, What the Ladybird Heard, Squash and a Squeeze, and The Gruffalo. So Julia Donaldson just keeps selling for me, and the 5 of them went for £12.84. So again, not a bad sale for what they are. Right, one more. It's actually the best sale of the day, and only came in the very, very, very recent past, in the last half hour or so, to be honest. To be honest. What have we got? It's going to SN11. Where's SN11? I don't know. Anyway, it ain't where this book comes from. So it's A History of Royal Troon Golf Club. It's got a limited edition, you know, obviously says all that. Lovely soft binding. I don't think it's leather, it feels kind of fakey leather. The Breezy Links of Troon, A History of Royal Troon Golf Club. Oh hi the new. Aye, we like to play golf in Ayrshire. Troon, it's just a few miles down the road from here. I find a lot of golf stuff and memorabilia because of that, which I'm sure is not unique to this part of the country. But that's a really nice book, and I don't think there's any edition stuffing my jig on this. Where are we? 2001. Yeah, first edition. Yep. There we go. Guess what it sold for? No? Alright, okay. $28.99. So quite nice. Happy to take that. And that certainly gave us a wee boost to the overall day's sales, which to be honest, before that weren't looking great. After that, they're not looking brilliant, but it becomes a wee bit more acceptable. Total sales for the day, £133. Third to eBay, third to the post office, and a third in profit before taxes and all these things. I know there's more expense goes out, and it's for on a day-to-day item basis, working out exactly how much money comes in and out. It takes too much effort for the purpose of what I'm doing here. I just do that monthly for the most part, but it roughly works out as it's about a third in fees, about a third in postage, and about a third in profit. For that particular Royal Troon book, that sold for nearly 30 quid in total, it's going to be about £3.50, £4 to post it. The eBay fees are going to be what, £3 or £4. The cost of the book was about 25 pence, so somewhere between £15 and £20 profit on that one book, but others are much lower, so that's why I just stick with that kind of general rule. If I have a couple of big sales like that, big sales, 20 quid sales during the day, then there'll be a lot more profit from that particular day, but I say it averages out over the piece, and typically third to eBay, third in postage, a third in profit, in gross profit, and from that, as I've said before, cost of stock, you've got to pay taxes and anything that actually comes out as income, all of these things. Anywho, that be all the sales for today. Just hit the refresh button in case anything's coming in at the last minute, and it hasn't, and that's a shame. Not going to be doing a pick-up this weekend because I've actually got to work all weekend, which is very unlike me. I might try and go out today. It's pretty grim weather-wise here today, so I don't know if I'll bother, but I might take a wee run out this afternoon and do a little bit of a pick-up, see if I can find anything interesting, and if I do, I'll share it with you all once I've got it back. But for now, that's it. So thanks again everyone for watching, if you watched this far. Thanks for supporting the channel. Everyone that's subscribed, absolutely amazing. I think we've got 875 it's jumped up to since yesterday, which is like 25 new subscribers, which again, I know there's a lot of channels out there which do much more than that all the time, but for me, for what I'm doing here, it's difficult to get my head around. It's a little bit intimidating and daunting, to be honest, when I see the number of comments and all the interactions and everything that's coming in. But yeah, so thank you all for your support so far. Anyone who hasn't subscribed, really want to get to that 1,000, want to get monetized. I want my 46 pence a day from YouTube. Yeah, because that's where the money is, 46. No, that aside, yeah, thanks for the support. Subscribe if you want to, hit a like if you want to. Beyond that, I'm not really that bothered. But thank you all again. Love you. See you. Bye.